Hey guys, welcome to another video on the Inside Spurs channel. Happy Thursday evening. I hope everyone's all right. I hope everyone is okay and they've had a good day. Obviously, in this video, you can see by the thumbnail, we are going to be talking a little bit about Mohammed Kudus. Spurs potentially being offered the chance to sign the West Ham attacker. We've got some updates surrounding Bryan Mbuemo. There was something that I wanted to talk about a little bit on Noni Madueke as well. That was the other one that I wanted to have a brief chat about. Won't be a super long video, all right, I promise. So if you're watching this back thinking, oh, this might take a long time to get through all the news stories, don't worry, it won't be. I've got places to be. I've got places to be, and I've got sunburn to fix. Sunburn to fix. What a life I live. Evening, Sonia. How are we? Spurs, Sean, Jacob, Al Dente, Janice, Steve. Jacob's at the Club World Cup game. There's a weather delay. There's a lot of storms and everything in America at the moment. So I know Indiana's got a bit of a storm last night. So stay safe out there. Surendra, how are we? Yeah, I have been caught by the sun. I have indeed. Anyway, let's jump in and let's talk about the main things because I want to talk about Mohammed Kudus first and foremost. Got two bits of information on Mohammed Kudus. According to Ben Jacobs, we have been offered the chance to sign Mohammed Kudus to summer. Now, look, I was in a bit of a sharper mood yesterday. Don't panic. I'm in a good mood this evening. There's a few schools of thought that I wanted to talk about with Mohammed Kudus. First and foremost, look, if Thomas Frank is a real massive Mohammed Kudus kind of guy, that's the number one attacker that he wants, then we look that way and we try and deliver the guy that he wants. That's how I've always viewed all the players that we've been linked to. I've always had the attitude of if the manager wants him, then that's because the manager believes he needs this player to help him to deliver the success that he would like, the club would like, and the fans would like. Does it mean that I like all the signings we've ever made? Absolutely not. There's been some signings in the past that I've not really been on board with, but I back the manager because at the end of the day, he's the guy that has to manage these players to deliver the success. I am but a simple fan of the club, okay? He's an exciting player. For what you would like in terms of get you off your seat. He's a bit of a Spurs player in that regard. He's going to do some things that are going to drive you insane. He's going to do some things that are going to wow you. And he's going to do something in between both of those things. Now, my attitude in regards to the £85 million release clause, I still think steer clear of. I still believe you can get better value out there than 85 million on a guy who had 5 goals in the Premier League or whatever it was last season. If the price is supposedly closer to where Tottenham have made an offer of, I think it was 50 million, or they're looking to maybe make an offer of around 50 million, then you have more of a conversation, right? But we're going from links to Javi Simmons and Bryan Mbuemo, who have 25 goal contributions last season, to a guy that has less than 10 this season, but for more money. We've been linked to Antoine Semenyo from Bournemouth, who, bear with me. I just want to double check what he did last season. Wait a second. So in the Premier League, he had 17 goal contributions. So basically double Kudus. Yet Kudus is touted as 85 million, and people have a problem with Semenyo for 50, maybe 55. I'm struggling to see it. Again, I'll be real with you. I have the attitude of if the manager wants him, then we look that way. But if it's for 85 million, which I don't even think West Ham will expect 85 million. I can't see them for the life of me. I think if West Ham were offered 60 million, they would take it. Simple as that. I think they would take it for 60 million. Now, seeing West Ham fans go, if we offered 60 million for Kudus, we take it and run. That's hell of a thing today. So, it's just mental, isn't it? Yeah, many West Ham fans are happy to see Kudus leave. I've got one more bit of information on Kudus, so bear with me on that. Hey, Callum, mate, how are we? At Wet Spam. Wow. Kudus has a physical profile that we simply do not have and been desperate for. Strong, quick, and ball control guy. Joshua, mate, how are you? Semenya, yeah, thank you, mate. They're willing to let him go for under the scores. Says a lot. Adiz, mate, how are we? I'm not hay fever suffering, mate. I literally just sneezed about twice before I went live, and I'm just a bit sunburnt. I was out in the sun today, so the back of my neck you can't really see is pretty sunburnt as well. Wear sun lotion, wear sunscreen. You need to be wearing it. Don't be me. Tell the highest in tell bangs in 100 goals in 4 to 5 seasons for us. Well, hopefully so. Jacob, mate, you're right. Everyone's making moves and we aren't. Well, we've signed 2 players this summer. No, they haven't, Faz. Now, look, on a little bit more of this, the account name, just want to see if there's anything else. No, it's the ex-West Ham United employee, very good fit, the in the know West Ham things, said that West Ham are trying to sell Mohammed Kudus. There's a lot of interest for the player from abroad and domestically. I would assume the abroad part is most likely Saudi due to the cost of the deal. He's in interest from Arsenal, Man United, Chelsea, Newcastle, and Spurs. The hope is that a bidding war erupts, driving the figure near 85 million. There you go. There we go. I hope it works. If the number's getting close to 85 million, again, if Frank really wants him, you have to question what Frank's really seeing in him. But for me, pull our name out of that hat like that. Pull a name out of the hat and then get one of the other targets. Hell, if it's 85 million, you get one of those targets and get me a left back. You could do both of those things for that kind of money. All right? A left back would really, by the way, Spurs, just if you're watching, for whatever reason, left back would be really nice, by the way. Kieran, how are we? And he's seen the future. He knows how Spurs' chances will look, hence he chose to work. Yeah, the irony is I didn't go to it, but I got a new job this week and it's been a very quiet week in terms of Spurs activity. So it's been a great week to start work for that reason. We were interested in Burn see the behind the scenes club video of Frank at the training ground got me excited. Look, the Frank video is he's very well spoken. It was very well delivered. Yeah, I enjoyed the video. I also love the fact that he gave Ange his flowers, well-deserved flowers as well. That's a man that created the foundations that Thomas Frank is going to reap the rewards from. Yeah, I was very happy that I was wondering if he would say something about Ange, but Thomas Frank does feel like the kind of guy that he's always happy to give flowers to people when they deserve it. So great news that he did that, in my opinion. And yeah, good stuff. Even less known, AJ, how are we? Raz the Watermelon. Not Raz Watermelon. I'm going to call him Raz the Watermelon. Richard Rios, Ricard Rios. Haven't seen enough about it, mate. JMP, how are you, big man? You all right? How you been? Moving on, though. That's a little bit on Kudus. We're going to move on. Bryan Mbuemo, a couple of things here. Now, Duncan Castles is one of them, but David Ornstein obviously being the other one. David Ornstein saying that he still expects Bryan Mbuemo to go to Manchester United, but Duncan Castles this afternoon putting out that apparently Bryan Mbuemo has not communicated that he only wants to join Manchester United. Should both clubs match the valuation Brentford has set, then there's a good chance the forward would reunite with Thomas Frank at Spurs rather than join Manchester United. Well, there you go. I'll have Skip on Mohammed Kudus for 85 million. I'll have the guy that has 20, nearly 30 goal contribution last season in the Prem and Bryan Mbuemo. No, in all honesty, this is Brentford trying to build a market between two teams for Mbuemo, okay? I still think he goes to Manchester United. I'm not going to change my tune on that. Look, prove me wrong. Why not? I still think he goes to Manchester United. Very weird that Twitter thought Bryan Mbuemo for 65, 70 million was too expensive, but Mohammed Kudus for 85 is about right. Why, yeah. That's when you know that Twitter has some interesting takes. But on Bryan Mbuemo, I really like Bryan Mbuemo. I really do. You know that, but I still think he winds up at Manchester United. I think Spurs would outbid Man United on the transfer fee, but look, yeah, we're not going to offer the wages, are we? And that's not a dig at Levy or anything like that. That's just a Man United thing. Man United offer big wages. It's what they do. They always have done. It's not anything to do with Spurs or them offering not big enough wages. Man United just do that. They'll always find a way to outbid you on wages. All right. So there you go. I see some innuendos going in the chat. Terrible. Kudus passes the eye test and people often go by. Yeah, exactly. And that's why you never go to Twitter to find information about things because you don't really ever learn anything from there, you know. Brian, how are you? Bro, Brian's made a live. That's how you know I've changed my schedule. If Brian's making a live, dangerous that. Careful of Brian. You know, I've always been Saudi like offering same wages. I mean, look, it's they've always done that. They always have done that. You know, I talked about it. You know, I talked about Jadon Sancho. This is a guy that was so desperate to join Manchester United that Manchester United gave him 300 grand a week. They never needed to give him 300 grand a week. He's a guy that wanted to be there. He was probably on a quarter of that at Dortmund, and then Man United gave him a 4 times pay rise. And then you got Kobe Mainu, who barely played last season, asking for 180 grand a week. You know, they made this mess. They made the mess. You know, they could have bought Anthony months before they did for 50 million. They then mucked around for months and then panic bought him at the end of the window for 85 million. So it's what they do. It's what they do. The Wizard, yeah. But for me, Kudus is a luxury player. We could do better business, but also more effective business is the way I'd sum up. Is he a good player? I think Kudus is a good player. For 85 million, though, 85 million, we sold a player 12 years ago for about 85 million, and he was the best player in the Premier League. One of Britain's best ever players. 85 million nowadays gets you a guy who gets 5 goals in the Premier League. Dunno. Not sure about that one, Chief. Not sure about that one. Same people who passed the eye test, the same people say someone isn't good enough on stats-wise on Twitter. Yeah. Most of the times, it's always about fitting agendas. Sean Hurl with the group chat. Here we go. No homegrown and club trained. Come on, mate. Give us a second because I'm going to feed you something about Noni Madueke. But no, we've been linked to loads of homegrown players. That is something we'll be doing this summer. We will do homegrown. Let's not panic. All right. Still another couple of months. You know what I mean? What have I missed? Father's Day were given a choice of new kit. I asked for black one, not out. View. What do you mean? Thoughts on the NBA finals today? Look, I hope Indiana can do it, but if Halliburton's calf isn't right, I can't see it. So it is what it is. You know what I mean? When do you think the next time it would be? June 19th. Early to mid-July. 3 weeks' time, maybe, something like that, which I feel like would be too late. I feel like we need to be getting someone in within the next 3 weeks from now. Someone by the end of this month, but I don't have the faith, unfortunately. Appreciate it, though, Brian, mate. Appreciate it. All the support. You hate Tottenham, Harvey. Oh, dude, is everything all right? They ruined Dejan. What have you done to Kulusevski? God, that's got me down, Harvey, dude. Don't be like that. You're all right. Come on. Let's pick up the vibes. So someone charged on the kit on just now. He says he wants Mbuemo badly. Well, there you go. If he does, he does. You know, do I support an NBA team? I'm going to try and pick. I was going to try and pick a really niche one like the Utah Jazz. No, I've got a thing for the Celtics. Obviously, you probably could tell why. They were in Gaz back in there. But yeah, there we go. But anyway, let's move on. Madueke time. So that wasn't going to be on live for late. Last one. Matt Law was talking about. So obviously, Matt Law is very much in the know of the Chelsea world. Madueke has been talk of the last 6 months that he could be leaving Chelsea. Now, Mudryk's situation, supposedly getting a multi-year ban for doping, that's going to put pressure on the squad. But also they want to create maybe some more pathways for players to come in that they bought ages ago. But Matt Law saying that Chelsea winning Noni Madueke is on the radar of a number of Premier League clubs this summer. Arsenal have said to be taking a note, but hard to gauge level of interest ATM. And why has he meant put ATM? You're a journalist, but at the moment. And then Maresca's also talked about Noni Madueke. Says we consider Noni our player for next season. I mean, that doesn't sound very convincing, you know? Feels a bit weird. We do need players in for the preseason, absolutely. So if you like Dejan, why are you looking for a player in his positions? It's not me. It's not me, mate. I'm not doing anything. Look, if I had that power and that money, I would sell the club and go live on an island where I could just chill and not ever have to do anything in my life. Dragian and Madison in the Frank video, both are injured doing rehab. That's why they're there. On Frank, he shouted out Solanke and thinks he could be brilliant. He shouts out Bentancur and Matters. He's obviously shouted out players in terms of when he just played Spurs as well. So look, he has a plan and action for some of our players, and I think we should wait and see what that plan looks like. I think it's exciting, absolutely, but let's wait and see what he has in store. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I think it's exciting. That's all right, Harvey, dude. It's okay, man. It's okay. Frank literally asked Matters whether he's working hard or not. Proper school teachers vibes from Frank. Yeah. It's Mr. Frank. Not Thomas Stewart. It's Mr. Frank. Phil, how are you, my friend? I'm at the club. I don't think Madison and Kuda can play together. Well, they can, but I think centrally in the midfield, it worked for a bit and also it didn't work. So I think at times it can and times it can't. You know, Xavi Sims or Eze, who's more creative, Andy? I'd probably say Eze. Oh, but the season before, Simmons' stats were pretty good. I'll say Eze for now. No, I'm not sure, though. I'm not sure about that one. That's closer than you think. Luton Town is scheduled for July 26th. Yeah, but we'll be back for training. We'll be back in training in a month's time, guaranteed. So it's like it'd be good to get some players in that can come straight into training, you know? That's my big thing is they can come straight into training, hit the ground running. You know, so when Thomas Frank is teaching the system, the new players are hearing it as well as the players that are already there, you know? Evening MS, how are you? Have we bought anyone? No. We need a squad, not a first team, different play. Yeah, we need a squad. We need rotating options and we need a squad. But yeah, we'll sort of see on that one. I did mention on the website. But yeah, on Madueke, like, before anyone asks, okay, he is not an academy trained player. Well, no, he is an academy trained player, but not enough to be considered an academy trained player for Europe, okay? Obviously considered homegrown, England international, much better on the right wing than he is a left wing. I view him a bit like how I viewed Sane, but the difference is he's going to be cheaper and he's younger, so he's got an ability to change things. He's going to do some things that are going to drive you insane. Some decision making is going to drive you insane. Okay? But he's going to do some things that are pretty mental as well. As long as he starts to develop on doing more with it more frequently, we should be okay. Should be is a key word there. Should be. But I mean, it's also how much do they view Madueke? Because if Mohammed Kudus, for what he's done, and for what, let's say 60 million for 9 goal contributions. Well, Madueke is 23. He's got 5 years left of his contract with an option to extend for another year. And he had 16 goal contributions. He had 11 goal contributions in the league in 32. So he had more goal contributions in less games, isn't it? So how much is Madueke worth? Because if Kudus is worth 60, then surely Madueke, English tax on top, is 75 million. See the issue there? Madueke is greedy and all about himself. I think we must trust Thomas. Yeah, no, exactly. At the end of the day, my attitude very much is, if Thomas Frank wants someone, you have to try and go and get him. Now, look, if Mohammed Kudus, they're going, yeah, it's 75 million. You go, I love your enthusiasm. I love your positivity and how much you view Mohammed Kudus. No one on earth with a brain that works at 1% capacity should ever go near Mohammed Kudus 75 million. We can do better, guaranteed. Hell, I mean, a smarter way about it would go, do you go get Dibbling and another player for the same money? Because we have so many other holes, you know? Dibbling didn't have that many less goal contributions, and he's 18. And he's English. Wait for someone to nibble on that. Yeah, Odebear's not leaving. Anyone thinks Odebear's leaving, don't worry about it. I think we might see a one surprise. Well, apparently we are fighting hammer and nail to make sure that Romero stays here next season. So we'll see about that. What's your vibes on Frank after that program? The video, yeah, really solid. But Frank is a very good speaker. You know, I've already said that he's a bit like Ange in that way. I hope that the fan base who wanted to chase Ange out after Brentford 2-2 first game of the season 2 seasons ago, I hope they give Frank time. You know, you can still love Ange and you can still want this manager to succeed. You can still love Conte and want this manager to succeed. Same with any other manager. And that's the way we should be. We should all be supporting Frank 1,000,000% because he's going to need our support. Does it mean he's going to be your favourite manager ever? Maybe not, but that's fine. But support him whilst he needs it, you know? So that's my attitude. You live in Turkey and you want Galatasaray to sign Dejan Kulusevski. You can sign him, but he's going to cost way more than Osimhen's going to cost. I think Frank will operate like Ange as far as size and profiles that are needed for the team, and individuals are then identified by the club. How does it say, but yeah, Dejan's going nowhere, don't worry. Arsenal Madueke is literally funding Chelsea for Kudus. Well, one guy had a better season on paper, no? Wait for a nibble on that one as well. Look, thank you all so much for joining me this evening. I really appreciate it. I'm going to head out for a nice stroll in the sun. I'm going to put a vest on and get out there and get my suntan going. As you can tell, looking pretty poor right now. So thank you so much for joining me this evening. Please go and enjoy the rest of your evenings. Wherever you're up to this evening, please enjoy it. Look after yourselves. So enjoy the rest of your morning, your afternoon as well, if you're obviously not in the evening. And I'm back tomorrow to talk a lot more about Tottenham Hotspur. Take care, everyone. Peace.